The Hellion Alliance fleet floated in the darkness like wounded animals waiting for the final strike. Dozens of ships burned slowly, their metal bodies cracked open, their lights fading one by one. What was once a proud defense force now looked like a graveyard drifting between stars. Every captain, every pilot, every civilian on board understood one truth. They were only minutes away from death. Admiral Selar stood at the center of the Hellion flagship, the HSS Valorian. His hands were shaking, but not from fear, from the terrible responsibility of watching his people die. Around him, officers yelled out reports in broken voices. Deck 7 is gone. Enemy ships closing in? We cannot hold another attack. The Draxian swarm had surrounded them like a steel cage. Black warships, sharp and cold, kept moving closer. Their red lights glowed like the eyes of hungry beasts. The Draxian commander spoke on open channels every few minutes, his voice filled with cruel laughter. Hellion, this is your end. No one is coming. Your allies have abandoned you. Accept your fate. Each word stabbed the fleet like a knife. And the worst part was, it felt true. No help had answered their calls. No support ship arrived. The Hellion Alliance, known for peace and diplomacy, was never built for long wars. They always believed negotiations would save them. Now, negotiations had failed, and the Draxian wanted to erase them from existence. Inside the Valorian, alarms screamed, sparks flew from broken wires, and the air smelled of smoke. Officers ran with bandages, oxygen masks, and fire equipment. Children on civilian decks cried. Families held each other tightly. Admiral Selar looked at them through the glass screens, feeling the weight on his chest grow heavier. These are my people, and I cannot save them. He closed his eyes for a moment. He thought of the Hellion world's blue oceans, green forests, cities of crystal towers. He thought of the schools, the markets, the quiet streets. All of it would be lost, burned, turned into ash. A young officer, barely 20, approached him. Her voice broke as she saluted. Admiral, we have only 8 minutes before the enemy reaches firing range. 8 minutes. 8 minutes to the end of a civilization. Sylar's hands clenched. His voice was calm, but inside, his heart felt like it was collapsing. Tell the fleet. He swallowed hard. Tell them to prepare for final defense. The officer nodded, tears shining in her eyes. When she left, Sylar stood alone with the screens blinking around him. Outside, the Draxian ships moved like silent shadows. The void felt colder, darker, endless. Suddenly, the enemy commander spoke again, mocking them. Hellion, where is your hope now? Where are your protectors? Who will save you? There was no answer. The bridge stayed silent. Everyone knew. There was only one power that could stand against the Draxian swarm. But humanity was far away. Humanity had no treaty with the Hellion Alliance. Humanity had no reason to help. Sylar looked at the dark space beyond the enemy lines. Humans were unpredictable, powerful, brave. But they were also isolated. They rarely joined foreign wars still. In the quiet corner of Sylar's heart, a small, weak hope flickered. He whispered to himself, if only Earth could hear us. A sudden explosion shook the Valorian. Lights flickered. A side panel burst with smoke. Officers fell to the ground. Several screens went black. Admiral, enemy ships are charging their main cannons. They will fire in 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Sylar looked at the countdown on the main screen. His people had survived every second longer than anyone expected. But now, the final moment had come. He raised his voice, firm and steady. Send this message to all ships, all captains, all civilians. The communication officer wiped blood from his forehead and nodded. Ready. Admiral. Sylar spoke slowly, clearly. With the weight of a dying world, this is Admiral Sylar. We have fought with honor. We have held our line. Whatever happens next, remember that we stood together, and we will face our end together. The message echoed through every ship. Many broke into tears. Others saluted their screens. Parents hugged their children one last time. Pilots gripped their controls, refusing to abandon their posts. The enemy cannons glowed brighter. Red fire gathered at their tips. The final shot was coming. Then, a sound cut through the silence. Sharp ping from the long-range sensors. Everyone froze. The officer at the radar station stared at his screen with wide eyes. "Admiral, something is entering the sector." Salar turned sharply. "Traction reinforcements?" The officer shook his head slowly. "No, sir. This signal pattern, it is not traction. It is something else." On the giant screen, a single ripple appeared in the darkness, a distortion, like space itself was bending. Another officer whispered, voice shaking, "I have never seen energy like this." The ripple grew bigger, then it split. Light burst out like a silent explosion. Space shimmered with a golden glow. And from inside the light, something massive began to appear. A shadow of a warship, then another. Then dozens. Admiral Sylar's breath caught in his chest. No, this cannot be. But it was. The incoming signal cleared, and a single, familiar emblem flashed across the screen. Strong, bold, unmistakable, the emblem of Earth. The bridge went silent. No one spoke. No one breathed. Then a message arrived on the main channel. A cold, steady voice filled the room. "This is Earth Fleet Command. Hold your position, Helion. We are here." Tears fell from Admiral Sylar's eyes, but he did not hide them. Hope real. Powerful hope returned to his dying fleet. The humans had come, and the darkness would soon break. Asterisk. The darkness around the Hylian fleet shimmered like water touched by light. One moment the void was empty, silent, and merciless. The next, it was alive, glowing with long out. Bright trails tearing open the shadows. Admiral Sylar stared at the sight, unable to speak. Officers leaned forward over their stations, eyes wide, breath held. As shapes began to form out of the golden ripples. Warships. Human warships. Dozens, no, hundreds of them. The Hellion fleet had expected small support, maybe a few scouts, maybe a single cruiser. But what arrived was something the galaxy had whispered about for. DAC, the Earth's Defense Armada. The first ship completed its jump with a thunder-like shockwave. It was enormous black plating, glowing blue engines, twin-rail cannons along the sides, and a hull lined with golden lights. Its name was written across the front in bold white lettering. EHS Titanfall, a monster of steel. A symbol of human resolve. A nightmare for anyone who dared to threaten the innocent. Admiral Sylar felt a tremble run through his body. By the stars. They came in full force. More ships appeared behind the Titanfall. EHS Vanguard. EHS Thunderchild. EHS Solaris. EHS Black Sun. Fighter wings spread out like swarms of steel birds. Carriers unfolded massive hangars. Destroyers took formation with cold precision, in seconds. Humanity filled the void. The Draxian swarm fell silent. For the first time since the battle began, the enemy stopped advancing. Their red-lit warships hesitated, their sensors flickering with confusion. The Draxian commander's voice, once full of mocking laughter, returned, but this time it trembled. "Human ships. You dare interfere? This is not your war." The response came before he finished speaking. A new voice boomed across every channel, strong and steady. "This is Admiral Reese Rhodes of Earth Fleet Command. Hellion Alliance is under our protection now. Draxian vessels. Stand down or be destroyed." The words hit the battlefield like thunder. Sylar's officers exchanged shocked glances. Earth is protecting us? They heard our signal? They came for us? But Sylar knew better. Humans did not come because someone asked for help. Humans came because someone was in danger. It was who they were. The Draxian commander growled, voice rising in anger. "You cannot scare us. Your fleet is nothing against the swarm." Admiral Rhodes answered with cold certainty. "We did not come to scare you." And his tone dropped to a quiet, deadly whisper. "We came to end you. and the battle began. A wave of light erupted from the human fleet. Rail cannons charged with deep blue energy. Plasma launchers glowed orange. Fighter wings formed perfect attack patterns. Every ship moved like it shared the same heartbeat. The Titanfall fired first. Its main cannon released a beam, so bright that the Helion officers covered their eyes. The shot tore through space, hitting a Draxian cruiser head-on. The enemy ship split apart, instantly no explosion, no debris, just silent disintegration into dust. Gasps filled the Helion flagship. Another human destroyer fired, releasing torpedoes that zigzagged with intelligent guidance. The torpedoes pierced through 3 enemy ships at once, leaving trails of burning fragments drifting through the void. Human fighters darted between enemy formations like streaks of silver light. They moved faster than any alien ship Sylar had ever seen. Laser fire flashed from their wings, cutting through Draxian drones like blades of sunlight. The Draxian swarm tried to regroup. They failed. Every strategy they used crumbled under human tactics. Every attack was countered. Every formation broken. Humanity fought with a precision that made the enemy seem slow, clumsy, even primitive. Inside the Valorian, officers stared in awe. "Sir, humans are pushing them back. I've never seen such coordination. Look at the speed of those fighters." Admiral Sylar watched the battlefield with silent amazement. Humanity was not just helping. Humanity was dominating, but the Draxian were not finished. Their largest ship, the Draxian Monarch, moved slowly from behind the enemy lines. It was massive, almost as large as the Titanfall, covered in dark red armor and pulsing with violent energy. A deep, monstrous voice echoed across every channel. "Humans, your courage is impressive. Your arrival is foolish. Your death will be legendary." Admiral Rhodes responded calmly, "We will see." The Monarch charged its main weapon, a core of molten red energy spinning inside a giant cannon. Sylar shouted, "That weapon destroyed 3 of our heavy cruisers in one shot. If it fires again," but Rhodes had already noticed, the Titanfall moved forward, placing itself between the Monarch and the Helion fleet. Every Helion officer froze. "Is he shielding us? He is taking the shot for us? No one does that." The Monarch's cannon fired. A beam of pure red fury shot across space. It hit the Titanfall directly. The shockwave shook every ship for thousands of kilometers. Lights flickered. The void turned crimson. For several seconds, no one could see anything but fire. Sylar whispered, "Please, please let them survive." The smoke cleared slowly, and the Titanfall was still standing. Its armor glowed hot. Its shields flickered weakly, but it remained, unbroken. A message flashed across the battlefield. "Earth does not fall." Then Admiral Rhodes gave a single order. "All ships, full retaliation." Human warships ignited their engines. Fighters roared forward. Plasma storms lit up the void. The darkness around them glowed as humanity prepared to strike back with everything they had. The real battle had just begun. Asterisk. The void burned with the glow of human power. Every ship in the Helion fleet watched in stunned silence as the Earth's Armada moved like a single living force, ready to strike back with fury stronger than anything the Draxian had ever faced. "Admiral." Sylar felt something inside him shift, a spark of hope that refused to die. Across the battlefield, the giant Draxian Monarch, the pride of the enemy fleet, was already preparing another attack. Its red armor pulsed like a beating heart, gathering more energy in its massive cannon. Admiral and officer whispered, "They are charging the main weapon again." Sylar's stomach tightened. The first shot almost destroyed the Titanfall. A second could finish the human flagship completely. He turned to the comms officer. "Warn Admiral Rhodes," but Rhodes already knew. The human fleet was moving on the human bridge of the Titanfall. Admiral Rhodes stood tall, calm as steel. Flames still burned along parts of the hull. Alarms blinked red. Officers worked quickly to stabilize systems. But the Titanfall did not retreat. It pushed forward, closer to the Monarch. Closer to danger? Closer to victory, Admiral, his second-in-command said. Shields are at 30%. We do not need shields, Rhodes answered calmly. We need precision. The Titanfall's engines flared blue, and the massive ship glided forward like a silent giant. Human destroyers gathered, rounded in a protective arc, while fighter wings formed a spear-shaped formation. The Draxian commander laughed again, but this time his voice trembled. You cannot stop the Monarch. Your bravery is useless, Rhodes answered with a steady voice. Humanity does not fear the dark, and he lifted his hand. Fighter wings. Strike. Human fighters shot forward like silver arrows. Their engines blazed bright as they dodged heavy fire from the Draxian fleets. The Monarch released swarms of drones, thousands of small red machines that moved like angry insects. For a moment, the sky looked alive with swarming lights, but the human pilots did not panic. They danced. Their ships rolled, flipped, and twisted through the swarm, firing in perfect rhythms. Every shot from their cannons was accurate. Every movement controlled. Every decision sharp. Inside the Valorian, Hellion officers watched with heartbeats racing. Look at them. They move faster than anything we have ever seen. They are fighting like they already won. Siller felt something warm rise in his chest. For the first time in his life, he believed in a miracle. But the Monarch was still charging. Its core glowed brighter. Energy crackled around its front cannon. If that beam fired at full power, even the Titanfall would not survive. Sylar gripped the railing. Humans, please hurry. The Titanfall's long-range cannons activated again, sending bright blue beams crashing into the Monarch's shields. But it was not enough. The Monarch's armor was too thick. Its energy core was too powerful. Rhodes narrowed his eyes. Bring us closer. His officers stared at him in shock. Sir, closer? We are already in range. That weapon will tear us apart. This is suicide. But Rhodes' voice remained calm and cold. This ship was built for moments like this. The Titanfall surged forward, closing the distance between the two massive warships. Human destroyers formed tight defensive walls, firing non-stop at the Monarch's engines. Plasma torpedoes streaked through the void, exploding against its armor. And then, a moment that no one expected. A single human fighter broke formation. It flew straight toward the Monarch. Who is that pilot? Sylar whispered, watching the small ship move like a streak of fire. The fighter dodged every drone, every beam, every missile. It flew at impossible speed. Inside the Titanfall, an officer gasped. That is Lieutenant Aaron Vale. Rhodes nodded once. Vale was known across humanity as the fastest pilot alive. Some even said he was born for war. His fighter moved like it had a mind of its own. Flames from his thrusters lit a trail across the battlefield. He flew so close to the Monarch that enemy weapons could not lock onto him, and then he saw it. The weak point, a small crack in the Monarch's armor. Glowing with unstable energy, Vale smiled.